Is Prince Harry a useful idiot for despotic regimes?
Well, he's gone to China for his company Travelist, which is a company that supports supposedly sustainable travel. And he's gone to give a keynote speech, a bit of which I presume is what we just heard. But I mean, does Harry know anything about China? Does he know anything about its human rights, values? And did he actually know that his father was in Canada opening the Canadian Parliament? One begins to wonder, I mean, how very, very unswitched on he is. Or is he really doing this to sort of say, boo snubs to you, Dad? I just don't think he's clever enough to do that. I think it's a bit of coincidence, and he doesn't really know what else is going on outside his own world.
Yeah, I mean, that would be an excuse for him, and maybe it is the case. It's quite a depressing excuse given the level of education that he was given by the royal family, but maybe that's what you get from a bloke who parades up a street in Fulham randomly ring doorbells. But let's deal with the upstaging of the royal family. It's not the first time. Do you not think that there's something a little bit deliberate about this? Going off, doing big events at the...
Welcome to Celebrity Scoop. Today, we're lifting the veil on a shocking revelation within the very core of royal reporting. This is a tale not spun by tabloid journalists, but by those who once held the BBC's journalistic integrity in their hands. And the story they're telling? It's not just explosive, it's dynamite. Picture this. Respected journalists, once the linchpin in royal reporting, stepping forward, breaking their silence. They're not just confirming our suspicions, they're laying them bare for all to see. The whispers we've heard about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the stories that have made headlines around the world, have a source. And that source isn't an investigative journalist's hard-earned scoop. No, these stories, these intimate details, were leaked from the royal household itself. These journalists, these brave whistleblowers, are pointing fingers at palace aides and high-ranking insiders. They're saying that these insiders didn't just pass on information, they strategically leaked personal and damaging details. Their goal? To control the narrative, to protect the senior royals, to maintain the image of a dignified institution. One former reporter has even confessed that stories about Harry and Meghan were used as a diversion, a smokescreen to distract from other royal scandals. They were, in essence, trade bait in the high-stakes game of royal reputation management. This is no longer speculation. It's not hearsay or conjecture. These are the words of those who were once part of the system, those who know its inner workings. Their revelations paint a picture of an organised effort to shape public perception, not through truth but through selective leaks. As Meghan once said, they were willing to lie to protect others but not tell the truth to protect us. We're not just talking about gossip here. This is about media ethics, royal accountability, and the way power is wielded behind the palace doors. As more journalists find the courage to speak out, the once pristine image of a neutral and dignified royal institution is starting to show cracks. These were stories not just uncovered by the press, but leaked from within the palace walls. But who were the faces behind these leaks? The answer might surprise you. Our story takes us deep into the corridors of power, where palace aides and high-ranking insiders held sway over the narrative. These individuals, once seen as the loyal backbone of the royal household, are now emerging as key players in a web of deceit and manipulation. According to former BBC journalists, leaks were not random acts but strategic moves. Personal details, often damaging and intimate, were passed on to the press with precision and timing that would make a chess grandmaster envious. The motivation? To control narratives, to steer the media's gaze away from more senior royals. Imagine for a moment walking in the shoes of these journalists. You're offered a tantalising tidbit, a juicy piece of gossip. It's about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. It's scandalous, it's salacious, it's everything your readers would eat up. But it's not just a story, it's a deflection, a red herring, it's a trade-off, an exchange. You take the bait, and in return you look the other way. One insider went as far as to admit that this was the game, a game where Meghan and Harry weren't just the pawns, but the bait to distract from other royal scandals. It's a chilling revelation, a stark insight into the inner workings of a machine that was willing to sacrifice two of its own to protect the rest. In this royal Game of Thrones, truth was not the currency. Instead, selective leaks, half-truths and smokescreens were the result. A public perception carefully crafted, not from honesty, but from deception. The royal couple, it seems, were used as bait to distract from other royal scandals. It's a sobering thought, one that forces us to question not just what we hear, but who we hear it from, and why. Because in this web of deception, nothing is as it seems. These aren't just rumours or speculation, these are first-hand accounts from those who once worked inside the system. Let's delve a little deeper into this. The revelations coming to light are not mere insinuations. They are concrete assertions spoken by those who once operated within the walls of the BBC, the very heart of British journalism. These experienced journalists, once the forerunners in royal reporting, are now painting a picture of an organised effort to manipulate public perception. But how did they do it? The answer lies in the leaks. Not the accidental slips of a tongue, but strategically planned and carefully orchestrated leaks. The insiders claim that the royal household itself was behind these leaks. The stories about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, once thought to be the fruits of investigative journalism, were in fact hand-fed to the media. The palace aides, the high-ranking insiders, they all played their parts, passing on details that were often personal, damaging, and intended to control narratives. The royal household used these stories like chess pieces, strategically placing them to protect more senior royals, to distract from other scandals. One former reporter even described it as a trade-off. Meghan and Harry were the bait, their stories the distraction. But why? Why would the royal household do this? The answer is simple: power. The power to control the narrative, to shape public perception, to maintain an image of a dignified royal institution. But at what cost? Meghan Markle, a newcomer to the royal family, found herself at the epicentre of these manipulations. As she so poignantly expressed, they were willing to lie to protect others, but not tell the truth to protect us. So we find ourselves facing a reality where the stories we consumed, the scandals we discussed, were not just stumbled upon by the press. They were deliberately planted, grown, and harvested by the very institution they were about. As Meghan once said, they were willing to lie to protect others, but not tell the truth to protect us. But let's step back for a moment. What does this mean beyond the realm of royal gossip? It's easy to get caught up in the intrigue, the whispers, the scandal, but the implications of these revelations run far deeper than tabloid headlines. At its core, this is a question of media ethics. Journalists have a responsibility to report the truth, to hold those in power accountable, and to act in the public interest. But when stories are being manipulated and leaked by the very subjects they're supposed to be scrutinizing, it undermines the very foundation of journalism. It blurs the lines between news and propaganda, between public interest and personal agenda. Moreover, it raises questions about accountability within the royal family itself. If these allegations are true, it suggests that the monarchy has been using its influence to control the narrative, to deflect criticism, and to protect its own. It's a stark reminder of the power dynamics at play behind the palace doors and the lengths some are willing to go to maintain the status quo. But perhaps most critically, it highlights the vulnerability of those who, like Harry and Meghan, find themselves on the outside of that power structure. It's a sobering reminder of how easily individuals can be sacrificed for the sake of protecting an institution. These revelations have the potential to change the way we view the monarchy, the media, and the relationship between the two. It's a wake-up call, a call to question, to scrutinise, to demand transparency and accountability. This isn't just about Harry and Meghan, or even about the royal family. It's about power, control, and the mechanisms used to maintain them. It's about the stories we're told, the ones we believe, and the ones that are kept hidden. In the end, it's a story as old as time, but with a distinctly modern twist, and it's a story that's far from over. As more journalists speak out, the once neutral and dignified image of the royal institution continues to falter. So now, we turn to you, our viewers. What do you make of all this? This is a story that has evolved far beyond the confines of royal gossip. This is about accountability, media ethics, and the machinations of power behind the gilded doors of the monarchy. This is about the people who once stood within those walls, who now stand outside speaking truths that were once unthinkable. Are you shocked by these revelations? Or is this something you suspected all along? Perhaps you're wondering what this means for the future of the royal family, or for the media outlets who played along with this alleged scheme. Or maybe you're pondering the implications for Harry and Meghan themselves. And so, we invite you to voice your thoughts, to engage with this story in a way that goes beyond passive consumption. Take this new information, mull over it, discuss it. Because it's not just about what we think, it's about what you think. It's about sparking conversations that matter, about challenging the status quo, and about holding those in power accountable. Remember, your voice matters. Your thoughts, your opinions, they all contribute to a broader dialogue that can lead to change. So don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Engage in conversation with others. Share this video with friends and family. The more we talk about these issues, the more we can understand and address them. And of course, if you appreciated this insight and want to stay updated on the latest celebrity news and revelations, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Celebrity Scoop. Let's continue this journey together, uncovering the truths hidden in the shadows of fame, one story at a time. Were Harry and Meghan set up from the inside? We leave you to ponder. Until next time, this is Celebrity Scoop.